You're all set, Steve.
Thanks, Lauren. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to a special meeting of the Reynolds School Project Building Committee, September 5th, and it is 5:01. Lauren, will you do the roll call for me, please?
Chairman Woods,
Here.
Carol Duggan,
Here.
Dave Nagel.
He's
If
here.
you're here, we can see you. Yeah. Amy Parati is not here.
Okay.
Kim Rada
Here.
and Jeremy Wetzel.
Here.
You do have a quorum. You're all set.
Thank you. Public participation.
I don't see any.
Okay. Take action on prior meeting minutes. I think we have one.
July 18th is the date.
Correct, July 18th. So I would entertain a motion that we approve those as written.
Make the motion.
Thank you, Carol. A second? Someone?
Second.
Thank you, Jeremy. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Okay. Architects update. And actually, Jennifer, before I have you go, I just want to kind of brief the committee of where we are with the incident that we had up there a couple weeks ago. As you all know, there was a problem in the C wing, 2 of the classrooms, and a little bit in the media center. So it took a little bit of exploration to find it out. And actually, as I told you at the last meeting, Eileen picked up on this with the windowsills. The windowsills were swelling. And initially it was thought that was just the wrong adhesive being used. Finally, it wasn't getting any better. It was noticed in a couple of classrooms. So they decided to take one of those sills off the millwork, and the mold was found. Good news is that it was isolated to 2 rooms in C wing, rooms 3 and 7, and then in the media center. So the team did an amazing job, from our owner's project manager to our construction manager and to all of the participants that jumped in to make sure that we got this under control and got it under control fast. Brought in our environmentalist. He recommended that we shut down 2 of the rooms, which we did. And we started doing some exploration, found mold, as we found moisture and water above the ceiling, found water in the new LED lights. Some of the ceiling panels were saturated, and there was mold in the ceiling and mold behind the sheetrock in the walls, but only in part of the room, not in the whole room. Well, I'm not trying to go on too long here, but so took another week to determine how this all happened. And it was kind of like a perfect storm. Come to find out, we did bring in a specialist to help us solve it. There was a couple of roof leaks in both of those rooms. And our metals guy for the outside panels did not caulk the panels properly, or actually didn't caulk them at all. And so on a hard driven rain, that allows some moisture to get in. Obviously, roof leaks allowed moisture to get in. Perfect storm. I think I've never seen this, and maybe it's happened. I don't remember. We had 40, 45, maybe even 50 days of high heat and humidity. And it was a perfect breeding ground. So we got the mold. Good news is, again, it's been cleaned up. The rooms have been taken apart, 2 rooms, 3 and 7. There was very little bit of work in the media center. I believe Lou and Eileen, the media center, all we did is replace ceiling tiles, correct? I think that's all we did in that room.
Yep.
It was only in a portion of the room. It was that new, or it's always been there, but the cubby area where the tree is.
The cassette unit was cleaned out and wiped down the fins. And then Rich can chime in about the ceiling tile. Rich replaced the ceiling tiles or Newfield.
Yeah, in the media center in that bump out area, right along the diffuser, seemed to be getting some condensation and affected the tiles immediately adjacent to that diffuser, and they were removed and replaced.
And while there was some mold found in that room, it's no different than the molds and spores that are outside in the air. John Luby, who is our environmental specialist, saw no reason to shut the room down. And we just changed those panels and we're back in business. And most of the work was in 3 and 7. It is my understanding that they're back into those rooms tomorrow painting. So they're already all put back together. Custodians are going to help on Saturday, start setting up the rooms, and the teachers in those 2 rooms will be back in. I believe, and Carol, you might even know this one. One of those teachers, I think, has been permanently relocated, so she's not in that room anymore. And I feel horrible because
Correct.
I know her well, and she poured her heart and soul into it. And that had to be very disappointing, having the room all set up, and then find out that it's got to be taken apart. This is
Her new room is nicer, so she made out in the deal.
okay. Well, hopefully she's happy.
She's very happy.
Okay, well, that's good. She deserves that. No one deserves what happened. I'll be honest with you, this is probably a problem that's existed to a much smaller degree since we took those rooms over. And thank God, Eileen, that you were persistent and kept barking and barking and barking. And we finally got to take a look at it and stop it dead in its track, because it would have continued to spread and it could have been devastating.
Thanks. I definitely had help from KBA on that too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Castle,
thank you.
again, Castle Booze, Newfield, everybody was involved in this.
Yeah.
There Saturdays, Sundays, nights, late hours. I attended none of the meetings personally, just on the phone. I was called in, but and I would talk to Eileen sometimes 5, 6, 7 times a day to try to keep up with what was going on. So there's a lot of moving pieces. There still is some moving pieces. I'm going to turn it back over to Jennifer in a minute. What we're doing now is compiling the costs, because very little of this, actually almost none of this, will be pushed back to the owner. The only thing that we will pay for right now that I can guarantee you, in those rooms, there was a small cavity between the sheetrock and the masonry wall to the outside. We decided, through our experts' advice, to put in spray foam insulation. So that should never happen again. In case something does get in there, it shouldn't allow the mold to build up. It's not a big expense, and since the room was apart, it just made some sense. That is something above and beyond the contract. But the rest of it, we'll go back to Newfield, who is our CM. They'll work with CSG, and I don't want to say assign blame, but assign responsibility as to who carries the cost to get this all back together. I will share this with you. I saw one of the bills from the people that actually did the remediation, that cleaned the rooms, did most of the demo initially to get to the mold and get it cleaned. It was very inexpensive. It was like $13,500. I expected it to be more. Lou, are we getting another invoice, or that's it? That's total.
That's it.
That's it. So, I mean, if you were in, the room was all quarantined off, it was like there was asbestos in there. You had the double airlock to get in and get out. You had these guys were all in the white Tyvek suits. Looked like they were Martians and we were being invaded. But I'll just open up quickly in case anybody has a question. And then I'll go get back to Jennifer. But I wanted to kind of update you on all the moving parts that we've had. Yes, Jeremy.
Yeah, it's concerning. I'm glad there's been pretty good full disclosure on this for the most part. Although from what I understand, at the PTO meeting the other night, I think Jason was asked about it and he didn't know anything about it. How does Jason not know anything about that?
Yeah, I find that hard to believe, because Jason was involved in a lot of this.
Yeah. My daughter had told me that there was maybe some water coming down from one of the condenser units perhaps too, but she wasn't clear. There's just water falling on to some of the kids in her classroom. I'm not sure where she is. She may be over in that wing. I'm not sure. I'm glad it was fixed quickly. It sounds like it was a Herculean effort to get this done, but it came down to some caulking. Did I hear that right? It wasn't put down on some. on
That
the
was
roof?
one of them. Again, I personally, I believe most of the moisture was from the roof leak. That's where most of the moisture came in. I was in the rooms initially. There was a lot of moisture above the ceilings. And keep in mind too, these ceilings, this is the older part of the school, where there's only 10, 12, maybe just over a foot of space between our ceiling tiles and the roof decking, but there's not a lot of space up there. And Richard, do you want to speak to where, I don't actually remember where the leaks were in the roof. I just know that there was a couple leaks. The caulking issue, it only would leak on a hard windswept rain, which what have we had all summer long? Only hard windswept rains, which leads me to believe it could have been occurring earlier. We just didn't know it. And then when you get the high heat and humidity, now you've got the breeding ground, right, to build the mold. So at 25 degrees outside, you're not going to get the mold and the spores building up, but the right conditions, which is what we had.
And was the roof replaced in this location entirely?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Was the roof replaced in this area at all, or was there any attention? Did we redo the roof in that area?
Oh, yes, the roof was done, but initially the roof was done. So,
That's all.
okay, anyone else? I don't see no one's hands, no one looking to talk. Jennifer, you're up. I didn't want to steal your thunder, but I
Okay.
needed a little bit of context, I think, before you spoke.
Sure. Thank you. Okay, so I'm not going to cover any of that right now, but so we continue to do a lot of the same events that we have been, which is our weekly meetings with Newfield and CSG. We're continuing to review closeout information so that we can get this all buttoned up. Right now, there's some punch listing involved with the site mostly. Is that's this summer. There was a lot of work done this summer, so we're addressing some of those items with the contractor. And one new item, I guess, is as we get to close out and we get information from the contractors, we are working with Eversource to get you the energy incentive rebates, I guess you might want to call them. But there's some incentives that would be coming back to the owner. So we're working on getting that documentation, but some of it is needed from the contractors as they provide closeout documentation. But that's a positive that will be coming your way once all the documents are received. We're continuing to review contractors' applications for payment. And in front of you tonight, I believe, is the payment application for July number 27 for $300,650.88. So we reviewed that and we do recommend that for your approval this evening. Are there any questions?
Anybody have any questions for Jennifer? Doesn't look that way, Jennifer. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Eileen, you're next.
Hi, everyone. So we've had our team meeting this week. We've been very busy, obviously, with the issue, and we brought in the third-party consultant. So Jeremy, to answer your question, all of the roof leaks were tested by this third-party consultant and resolved. Just so we are aware. We have met to follow up on the punch list and open items. So we have, like Jennifer said, landscaping site work. We have to let or have the landscaping. Sorry. We need to accept this site work once it is acceptable. We have the FF&E punch list, and we have HVAC adjustments that are being done currently, the commissioning services that need to be resolved and completed. We're making sure that all crucial items and plans were in place for the start of school for Jason Smith, and we worked with Lou and Jason Plum, the rest of the team. As Jennifer stated, we are moving into the closeout phase here, and I am working to ensure that the specification documentation is complete, reviewing training, closeout documents and warranties. I'm also working on obtaining all the final invoices for financials. And we'll have an OAC meeting next week to discuss with the full team remaining items. Does anyone have any questions?
No, I think you're off the hook. The financial update, I've asked Eileen, because I know she doesn't have it ready yet because of all we've been doing to get the school open for school and that little setback that we had. And 3 and 7, so we will have another meeting on the 3rd Thursday of this month, which is back to our normal meeting. So she'll give it to us then. Rich, construction managers update.
Okay. So I know Jennifer and Eileen have both mentioned it as well, but a lot of our stuff this past summer has been outside. The building was largely completed with the phase 5 work. We have been inside doing punch lists. We do have a few things we're working through right now. Waiting a couple last deliveries, so some doors do need to be replaced at contractor's expense. In the media center, there is one, so that one is due within the next week or so. And again, largely outside we've been working. So the planting season that we we're in now began mid-August. So the landscaper has been out here. He'll be out here again this Saturday to work in the courtyard. So we're waiting on everything to get established, and then we're going to review everything with the landscape architect. He has been out a couple times and issued some reports, and those have been issued to the site work contractor. The landscaper is working under the site work contractor for this project. So there are open items that are being addressed, and we'll obviously keep up with the maintenance. I do know they were out here this morning. I did confirm that with the school staff that the maintenance of the plants was ongoing. We're going to continue staying on them to make sure that maintenance does occur. So our big push was for that first day of school, making sure everything was safe and functional for students and staff, which feel we did accomplish this summer. The other big thing we did, and you can see in the photo here, is the canopy. So that was done. We do have a few more details to work out at the base, but that work is ongoing, and we plan on having that we do have that in a good situation right now, and make it a little more presentable for next Wednesday with the open house. Again, canopy there. We do have all the bollards are in place and plantings in place, and we're working through a few punch lists and adjustments in these areas. Again, plantings are in. We're waiting on them to be established before everything can be accepted by the owner, and the owner takes over the maintenance on these items going forward. The lift gate is installed now that separates the upper and lower lots. So the previous years that was just coned off. So that's now being operated on a daily basis by the school security officer to accommodate the flow of traffic in and out as we have the buses and parents both dropping on. Again, landscaping continues throughout the site. As you can see, the grass is starting to come up here. They're going to have some maintenance. I anticipate some areas will need additional seed as well as we see it start coming through. The trees as well require additional watering. It said before that we'll be in the courtyard on Saturday. Reseeding that with a slice seeder should help crowd out some of the weeds that are in there. we're also going to be next week seating the old staging yard. So all the trailers are removed from there. You see that in the background. In the foreground, we have the slope in the playground area that was seeded as well. So that is an area that the students are able to use right now. And then in the staging yard, we do have all the topsoil in, and they're going to be, like I said, seeding that next week. So we'll be in further communication with the landscape architect on the acceptance of all that as that becomes more established. Do have some photos here of these rooms 3 and 7 as they sit today. So we did have drywall we removed, and we were able to save the studs in those areas. We were able to save the millwork. So a lot of that was able to be removed, cleaned, and put back in place. So we're in a pretty good spot with this right now. I've been talking with the custodial staff on their plans for moving some furniture back in there. That'll be occurring between Saturday and into early next week as well. Ceilings are all back in place, so all new ceiling pads were put in these rooms. We're going to be doing additional cleaning on the air conditioning ductwork, and we'll be resetting those the countertops on the millwork this weekend as well. So a lot of work did happen in that area over the past few weeks. Our drywall contractor has been able to give us whatever manpower. So we did speak to him early on, made him aware of what was going on, and he basically promised us the manpower we needed to make it work. So we do have to thank Con Acoustics for that. They did come through on that side. So it was overall unfortunate event, but I think we're in a good spot right now to start turning that back over. Again, all these walls will be painted starting tomorrow, so should finish that late tomorrow. We are again in the closeout phase, so we're working on the financial closeout as well as any of the last remaining punch list items. Getting all of the HVAC items finalized, whether that's adjusting temperatures or watching the humidity in certain areas and certain units and making sure we get everything fine-tuned and dialed in right there. Our controls contractor was actually on site as recently as this morning, making some more adjustments to that to make sure everything stays comfortable. And the other thing we've been doing the past few weeks has been owner training. So the owner is provided in-person training as well as video recordings of that training for future use on things like the air handling equipment, electrical lighting systems, the operable partitions, and things like that. So we're working with Jason Smith, coordinating that for whoever needs the proper training in the school, as well as Board of Ed with Lou and Jason Plum to coordinate anything on the maintenance side that needs training as well. So getting close. We're real close to the end. So any questions?
Any questions for Rich? Doesn't look that way, Rich. Thank you for the report, and thank you for all your help turning this around for us. We really appreciate it. Next item is 9, take action on potential change orders. I know we have one that I have. Are you gonna put that up, Lauren?
I did not receive any change orders.
You didn't.
Don't have any for this meeting.
No.
Okay.
Okay, I didn't think we did.
Okay. Review invoices and take action on invoices. Annie?
Yes, many.
Many.
Thanks, Lauren. I'll share this.
Great.
All right. Can everyone see that? All right.
Yes.
All right. So we have several invoices totaling $114,427.65. Most of these all have purchase orders against them. except for the third-party consultant that we brought in. So I'll just go through these. Red Thread had a purchase order, invoice amount 30. Do you want me to go through all the invoice amounts, or it's fine if 36?
Well, let me ask the committee, does everyone want an explanation? Most of these are repeats from that we get to see every month. The only thing new on here that I know of is that WS Curtin.
That's the
Okay.
third-party
Yeah.
consultant, Wheaton Sprague, that came in and did the work with us on rooms 3 and 7.
Any questions on any of that? No. Then I entertain a motion that we approve the invoices as presented on 9/5/2024 in the amount of $114,427.65.
So moved.
Thank you, Kim.
Second.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brittany. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Okay, it passes unanimously. Next item is 11. Any other business pertinent to committee? Anybody have anything?
I do. I just needed to increase tri-state. Is that okay to do right now?
Yeah, you can do it.
All right. Let me just pull this up and I'll let you know what I need here.
The tri-state is the material
Yes.
testing lab that does all
Correct.
the outside inspections for us to make sure the concrete's at the right strength, the pavement is at the right density, backfill, fill is compacted to the right density. They do all that work for us, and it's an owner's expense, which it's been that way since day one on this project.
Yeah, right. So these were the two invoices that came in, and we have 1,161.75 remaining, but I have 3 new invoices that came in and they said this was final, so we'll need an additional 25.90.25 moved over from somewhere else to cover that.
2,500.
Yes, 25.90.25.
Okay. Why don't we? Can you put up the budget quick? There you
Yes, yep. Sorry, I had
Yeah.
thought I was sharing it. So I have
go. Where's the
the
move?
three. I'm sorry.
The moving, we still have money there, don't we?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Have plenty. There we go.
So I would recommend we just take it out of there.
Yep, I actually put in the final invoices for moving that we'll do on 9/18. So that's our remaining balance in moving.
All right, so then as long as nobody objects, I would say that we will decrease the moving account by $2,590.25 and move it into materials testing line item. Someone want to make that motion?
The motion.
Thank you, Carol. And the second?
Second.
Thank you, Brittany.
Thank you.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passes unanimously.
We also have a payment for application.
Oh, we do?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Rich, for sharing.
All right, so this is the one that Jennifer explained. It's their payment rec. Number 27, believe it or not. In the amount of $300,650 $50.88. So I would entertain a motion that we approve that.
Make the motion.
Thank you, Carol. And a second,
Second.
Kim.
Mhm.
Thank you. All those in favor? Signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Any more, Lauren? That's it, right?
Thank you.
That's it.
Can you, Rich, can you send me that? Because I don't think you did, and I'll initial it.
Yeah, I'll
I
make sure.
sent it over to everyone today too.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
Okay, I'll go back and look. I must have missed it.
okay. It was later on in the afternoon, but yeah, I sent it over.
Okay.
Steve, it should be in DocuSign as well in an email.
Yeah, I didn't see the DocuSign, but
Okay.
Public participation, we have none, correct?
None.
Comments by members? Anyone? Dave Passetti, you have your hand up? No, you don't have your hand up. Motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Carol. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion, no one's opposed. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you, everybody, and see you in 2 weeks. I think it is. I think it's
9/18,
9/18.
9/19, excuse me,
19. Okay,
19.
so 2 weeks. All right, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Have a good week, or actually good weekend, right? It's Thursday.
You too.
Okay,
Good night, you too.
and I'll see a couple of you in a few minutes.
You will.
Mhm.